Happy birthday! Sorry, okay, wait. Is it somebody's birthday? It's nobody's birthday here. It's not my It's not my birthday. It's not the podcast's birthday. And I always start these off very awkwardly, and I don't know why. It's not like it matters. I think that's just because I know that I'm gonna watch it back. I don't know, man. I'm not gonna even watch this back. What do I care how? This is the most important part, I guess, because it's the beginning. It's the very beginning. So people are like, okay, what is this? What is this? This is like the most crucial time to not mess up. So you can't blame me for mess. That's like the most high pressure thing. Okay, this is the best part. The best part is what you're about to do first. Get the best part out of. That's not fair. It's not fair that only the first 10 seconds I gotta be the best. I gotta be because it takes me 20 hours to get warmed up for this stupid thing. It's not fair at all, man. So anyway, now that we got the anger out of the way, now that I'm back to baseline, Jesus, man, like I'm rusty. I'm rusty as a cavalcade. I'm rusty as an ox. I can't even think of nothing that makes sense right now with the word rusty in it. Or I could think of other stuff that makes sense. I'm not like totally like bananas right now. Just in that context of spoken language. I'm not good at spoken language. I don't know why I try. Why do I try to do stuff I'm not good at? Okay, well also there's written language. I don't know if I'm better than that or worse at that. I'm bad at that too, because that's even harder. Written language, like in emails, that's traumatic. Don't get me started on just the thought of like putting myself in email format to not sound too dickish in email, when obviously the whole reason I'm writing the emails because I'm angry. You don't write emails unless you're angry about something, unless you really want something. So you don't want to sound too pleading. You don't want to sound too emotional in the email, but you do want to sound good in the email, because screw emails. That's what I'm saying is I hate emails, but someone's got to send them. I mean, I'm my own I could only hire so many people to do shit for me. And even then, it's expensive. I can't, it's a thin line. I'm riding a thin line in my book bank, my bank book. Maybe I do have dyslexia, but what is it called when you don't have it? Yeah, what is it called when you don't have dyslexia, but when you speak it out, when you speak stuff backwards? I'm sure I'm not the first to ask that question. I think they just go, there's no word, there's no like thing for that. Just being a bad talker. Why is that not a commonly diagnosed illness, but dyslexia is? Who cares about dyslexia? Oh, you can't read right. Oh, you can't read the words right. Why is that? Why do they got a cool sounding disease? But it just has to do with reading stuff. Who cares? Look at me. I'm making an idiot out of myself in public all the time, and there's no word for it, and I don't have anything to blame it on except for that I'm stupid. Sorry, I'm stupid. And even that is hard to say because you forget the word. Oh, sorry, I'm stupid. What is that word where you can't remember words? What is that word? So anyway, I mean, I'm not just like brain dead. I feel brain dead. I feel diseased in the brain for not being able to speak properly, but also just because I'm out of practice, because I don't like to talk to people for a living. That email thing, though, is super stressful, and it's on my mind because I had to respond to tax people. They're, all these third parties, they're helping me out with something that I shouldn't even need help for to begin with, because I thought I needed it. Okay, this is boring. I don't want to get into it too much, but let's just, on a very narrow level, it's stressful. I don't want to go into the whole boring nits and bolts the nitty gritty about this boring ass subject of why I'm so stressed out. It just pisses me off because I feel like this shit should be done by now. This shit should be done by now. And they're like, I'm going on vacation. So there's this huge problem, but also I'm going on vacation. So I can't help you with the problem that I just brought to your attention and I'm being vague about. But also so now that I got your stressed, now that you're all worked up about it, there's going to be a huge delay, at least a couple weeks, because I'm going to go on vacation. And the whole reason I'm even talking to you is because of a thing that you didn't even know about that I just brought to your attention. Oh, that makes me want to... Whoa. Sorry, there's a fly. Point is, I'm trying to be vague about it because I'm not the type of person who just throws people under the bus, but it's a very stressful situation with taxes and like... I'll be whatever. It's still in the process of going on, and like they got me by the balls because I'm not rich enough to be like, well, screw you. I'm going to somebody else. I'm not rich at all. If I was rich, I would have people that actually knew what they were doing. They wouldn't be going on vacation. Like, oh, sorry, that thing you wanted to have done months ago. Well, I got news for you. There's a vague problem that I can't give you more details about yet because I'm going on vacation. Holy fuck! It gets your heart rate pumping. I still don't really care. Okay, I'm over it though. I mean, it sucks. There's nothing I can do about it. Venting about it, even that isn't that good. I can't even vent about it in a funny way because it's just not on my. It's like I'm not entertaining right now. So why am I trying to be entertaining? Jesus Christ. Okay, so that's one of the things I'm stressed about. And we could go on to the next subject. I'm very like OCD with subjects. So like, okay, do we cover that? Yes, but I didn't get enough dopamine from it yet, so we're going to keep lingering on it until we do. Then we're going to move on. That's how I am in real life, in performance life, and in everyday life. It's an OCD thing that stems from ADD, which stems from not knowing the correct terminology, the correct word for AD. I just call it ADD because it's better than saying ADHD. Who wants to say 4 syllables, 4 long ass? So anyway, the ADD gives me this feeling of like OCD, but it's different. It's different because it's just me trying to get the most dopamine I can out of one activity. And a subject could be an activity. Same thing. It's like context switching is tough. It's like you get hyper-focused. Okay, well now this is just becoming an infotainment. It's not entertainment, so it's not an infomercial because I'm not selling nothing. Jesus Christ, I mean, at least if I was selling something, I would have a parameter to know if I'm failing or not. That fucking bubble, so I got this sparkling water behind me, and it's distracting the shit out of me. I didn't think just having like an open can. Oh, and now I'm worried about there's a fly in there. I'm not good at living in Texas, man. This shit is eating me up. This living in Texas, this state is eating me up. I should have said state. This state of affairs, this fucking state is eating me up, man. I can't handle like the change in temperature. It's this bubbly because the sparkling water was in the fridge, or I don't know. I'm not gonna explain the chemical reaction or the physiology of everything that's going on and why it's just distracting, man. It's loud because this room is dead. Like everything is quiet in this room, so it picks up everything. My ears do. My ears pick up everything because it's a very quiet, sedate room. It's a very relaxing. You could lose a lot of time in here, which is the opposite of what you're supposed to be doing in here. You're supposed to be like performing. This is like a performance room. Doesn't make sense that it's dead. Nothing alive happens in here except for me. I'm technically alive. and I sit here and I do not work. I just like be, because you can't really call it work, because then people go like, "What do you do? How much money?" It's work, but it's like life work. It's like hobbyist. What was the? Forget all the side topics. What was the top? Who cares, man? This is a podcast. Why am I? So one of my problems is perfectionism. I'm very perfectionist, and we're using a new setup. There's been some changes in my life since the last episode. My computer needed an upgrade. That's it. That's the whole change I'm talking about. That's the change in my life. That's it. My computer, which is my heart. You need a main computer, man. Your main workhorse, main thing. Not everybody. If you're not a developer, you don't relate to what I'm saying. But anyway, I'm a developer. I can't just be on my phone. Could you imagine? Also, because I produce this podcast, and this podcast requires a pretty good computer, man. That's what I was so stressed about. Not anymore. I guess I'm not stressed about it anymore, but just a couple hours ago, I was stressed about getting everything back to how it was, because I had to reinstall Windows. Ooh, from scratch. You'll hear why. I guess we're going to go into the details on that. Okay, so this is a technical part of the show. Holy crap, I just know this is a boring subject, but also not to me, but it is to me too. But I was going to go into it, and as soon as I said install Windows, it's boring. So why am I going into this topic thinking it's not going to be boring? And is it jittery? Okay, the point is, let's just get to the nuts and bolts. Let's just bottom line this, like the taxes. Like my taxes are not bottom line. Okay, let's stop trying to make jokes. Stop trying to make jokes. You're not funny. It's weird. Just the only thing weird about it is I'm talking to myself. That's why it's bizarre. Like talking to yourself in third person is weird, man. You know? But anyway, okay, let's just turn off the pretense. We get that you're bad at talking. I have to talk in third person, I guess. Okay, I'll try not to do that, because that's crazy too. Because that's crazy to be like, to tell you to talk in third person. Okay, fine. I could be myself. I'm crazy. I accept that I'm crazy, but not with money. I'm becoming less crazy with money, I think. Maybe not. Okay, let's forget about the word crazy. I don't think there's a way I could reverse that thought of me thinking I'm crazy, but in a bad way. In a bad way. Because I'm all like freaked out by bugs and shit. Is that crazy? I don't know. So the thing I wanted to talk about was money. I think this episode is just going to be me not getting into any subjects. Because, whatever. That's how I thought it would. I mean, whatever. Even that subject I can't even finish. Okay, well, that's the episode, I guess. Well, sorry, man, I can't give you an update. I guess I look at this as like, okay, I'm just going to give a bunch of updates. Past tense, like, here's what happened, here's how I feel about it. And that's boring. That's like a journal. Like, you might as well just write that in a book and throw it in the ocean. Light it on fire. Forget about throwing it into the ocean. That's another thing. Getting rid of evidence is important. You don't want to leave evidence. Like, if you write something personal, whatever, who cares? That's embarrassing. I'm starting to think about burning stuff, or at least formatting my hard drive. So I got this new SSD, solid state drive. is what that stands for. I think we know what that is. We're talking about hardware. Computer hardware, which some people still need. Some people still use actual desktop computers. This is just a laptop, but I use it as a workstation. So it's pretty much a desktop, but it's tiny, it's cute, it's so small. So anyway, that's what it makes it more expensive. You're not getting as much bang for your buck. But anyway, things are getting cheaper now. So so anyway, bad sectors. So I'm recording this episode, and the reason I moved around is just because I wanted to check if the frame rate. I'm paranoid that the frame rate is not that it matters, man. As long as you could hear, the audio is more important. The content is number one. Then comes audio quality, then video, maybe somewhere after audio. I don't freaking know. Yeah, but yeah, that's probably true. Because it's usually what you're saying, it's more important than how you look as you're saying it for a stupid podcast. Why do I care? Because I just want to make sure that it's working as good as it is, because it's new. It should be even better. I got a new solid state drive because my old one, my computer, speaking of content being the number one best thing, well, I gave up on that a long time ago. That's why I'm not concerned about content. Sure, I'm still concerned. Not really. I just want this to... I want to fill the hour with something that I could get at least a couple clips from. And so far, nothing. So far, yeah, I'm filling the hour. But there ain't going to be no clips in this. I already know. Because when it comes to making the clips, usually I'll think of a couple, like, right after I finish recording. I'll play back the recording and be like, okay, that was funny. But then when it comes to actually making the clip, usually that's the next day. Some time goes by. At least a day. That's it. As long as a day goes by, I'm going to not think it's funny anymore at all, man. So I'm going to go back and be like, okay, this was a clippable moment. You wrote it down and everything. It made you laugh. I'll play it back. I'll be like, it's not that funny. So it sucks, man. So this is going to be one of those, this episode, I'm not expecting to get any clips from. So let's stop trying, so I don't have to try. And the reason I'm stammering and talking over myself more than usual is because same thing as every week. I also, this week, have not been talking to people and going out of the house and communicating, low self-confidence, low dopamine. So it's all the same. I don't know why I'm acting. It is so, like, everything's different. So yeah, it's not. Everything's the same. I'm still not going out. I'm still an extreme introvert. And some people might be, like, think that people that are introverted look down on extroverts. Like, yeah, I guess we do. I'm being honest, because we kind of do, but because I feel like if I say to an extrovert, "Hey, I'm an introvert, man," I feel like they would look at that as like them being attacked because they see that you see that they're not one. Sorry, I can't talk. I'm just saying, I do look down at extroverts because they're dumber. I don't know, like they're more social. But like I don't know. I don't actually look down at them. That was just like me trying to be like edgy and cool. But I do look up on introvert. I think introverts are cool. Not other ones, though. Like, other ones, I go, hey, you're just an introvert? You don't go out? I don't know, man. Okay, I do look up to introverts. All of them are cooler. I gotta make some decisions on this podcast. I can't just be the guy who's just neutral on every subject. Be like, well, I don't know. It's up for debate still. Still up for debate. No, I like introverts more than... I'm just being hippy-dippy. Because I'm not being, like, judgy. I am judgy, but not on this subject right now. I'm not feeling like throwing anyone under the bus. I'm just not, I don't like to talk shit, and that's why this is a great podcast, right? Everybody loves a podcast that they don't talk shit on. Because that's the whole reason people listen to the podcast. That's all the podcasts I listen to these days are YouTube guys. I don't listen to podcasts, and I don't really listen to full podcasts. But when I go on YouTube, I love YouTubers that talk shit about other people. So I don't do that. It's not my niche. I do it sometimes, but it doesn't stick. It's not my thing. And I do it in jest. I don't really hate people. Anyway, Charles Bukowski. He's a cool guy. He's an introvert. I got into him. I was watching everything available online of him on YouTube. So I got the essence of what he was as a person, and I didn't get much. See, that's the thing with like famous people. You can only go by what you can access on like the media or the documentaries out there. Whatever data is available to you, that's all you're ever going to see of them, unless you meet them. Whatever. I would have it seemed like a good guy. But who cares? Idolizing people. It's not about idolizing somebody. It's about him having these qualities that I like that remind me of myself. So it's has nothing to do with idolizing. It is, okay, fine, it is. You're idolizing him, but not because he's different. It's because he's doing what I want to do. And he's cut from the same jib as me. He has the same, view, perspective as me. He's not I don't even want to compare him to what's out there, right? There's nobody like him. There's nobody like that guy, and he's gone, long gone, so I can't even... So now that we're done talking about him, there's nobody like that right now. People right now, they exist, but they're not in the spotlight. They're not in the spotlight. They still exist. God damn it. I don't know that much about him yet. I read a couple of his poems, and it's inspirational, man. It's super inspirational because I have the same, not abilities, but I'm the same, disciplines that I like to do. Not because comedy, I used to write comedy jokes. Dude, this Charles Bukowski guy, I can't believe I'm just finding out about this guy. He had he was like the same person as me, just better, just further along and different. I'm just saying, I'm just saying similarities okay. So with comedy, I used to just get drunk, and the way he talks about how drinking, you could just keep drinking and there's no limit to it. You could just go on and on. I don't know. Okay, enough about him. He inspired me a little bit, but I can't explain how. I'm my own person. I'm gonna now lead the goddamn charge. And even the way in interviews when he got rattled, when somebody compared him, somebody said something extremely stupid. They're like, so whenever you say the word love, it means sex in your poems. They said that absolute thing to him. And he's like, where did you get this, you dumb... You're fucked up. You're fucked up. I forget the first thing he said, but he was like, where do you get this crap, baby? He said crap. He said something that was very defensive, harsh. I don't know where you get this crap. And they said baby. He called him baby to kind of lighten it up a little bit, to show that he wasn't actually that confrontational. So I like this guy. Anyway, so back to me. You gotta draw your influences, but anyway, I'm just so sorry. I've been focusing on this computer crap, so I haven't been smooth. I haven't been, my performance voice has been in the back of my head totally turned off. It's been turned, like, shut off. Out of RAM. So you gotta load it back into RAM. And the CPU it takes a while. Okay, enough metaphors, man. It's so hard to talk in metaphors, but anyway, enough of the metaphors. So I did get my CPU, my main workhorse laptop that I use for everything. Yeah, so I opened it up, and the battery was bulging, so I was like, well, that's not good. So I looked it up, like, probably God forbid I would have to take this thing into, like, some computer repair shop. Hell no. So I took the battery out and set it in the other room because I don't know how to dispose of that thing. Everything is difficult for me. If anything involves going out, like, so anyway, recycling a battery, I didn't have time for that shit. So just sitting in the other room. Anyway, so the thing has no battery in it, but it's probably better off without it. So the SSD had bad sectors on it. So I replaced it. It was a whole huge pain. I couldn't recover Windows, any of my settings. I couldn't transfer them over. So now this is where you're going to be like, why couldn't you just transfer that? Why'd you have to do a fresh install? So I had to do a fresh install of Windows. And now you might be asking, me, why? Why would you have to do a fresh install of Windows? Can't you just transfer the stuff over, do a recovery disk or USB, or transfer the image using software? Just transfer the partition over to the new drive? Okay, let me just go in a linear fashion. So my SSD was showing signs of end of life. And this is news to me that SSDs are only good for like 5 years. And if you're getting up in age, 5 years goes by fast. 5 years ain't when it used to be. Ain't what it used to. I don't know why it's so hard to say. Everything's hard to say when you haven't been talking for 12 days. However long it's been like 7 days. It's been over a week. It's not. I haven't even been that long. Okay, sorry. I have no excuse to be this disoriented. Okay, so anyway, my SSD was showing signs that it was broken and needed to be replaced. I was worried it was the motherboard, but then I learned SSDs, only good for 5 years, blah, blah. So it's only about 3 years old, the SSD. Anyway, came with the laptop. It's a Razer laptop. It's not a name brand, though. It's Light On, which is like not a name brand. So I shouldn't be too shocked after I learned about... Okay, so SSDs. The thing that I'm kind of surprised... I don't know, I'm still learning about this. Is that it had bad sectors on it. So anyway, this thing is so small. It's so small. This SSD, the mobile size version, whatever you call it, it's so small, and it had all my data, like a whole terabyte of data. So that's huge amounts of video, like uncompressed video, just on this tiny little thing. I sound like an old man. And I don't know. So I guess it's not surprising that it could go bad in a couple years. It's been about 3 years. So I pulled up this software that said it was only like 33% good. So 33%, and it said, yeah, it's good, still good. It's like, but it doesn't sound that good to me. I think it was 31, so that's like pretty low. That's less than a third of its life or its health was depleted. And this software is it just tells you how long the thing has been on, how much data has been sent back and forth on the drive. And these, I don't know, I look at SSDs as like infinite, like there's no limit to how much data you could read and write to it. I just look at, it'll last 30 years. Like I didn't see it as like this, okay, it's only good for up to, a couple 100 terabytes of data read or written to it. That's it. It's going to start showing signs of, it's going to start losing its effectiveness, its performance. I look at SSDs as like perfect gods of data store. You could just like throw data at it, scoop it up forever and ever. I looked at them as infallible. But of course, that's bullshit because there's always a limit. There's always a limit to how much data, like the speed and everything. You know, CPUs are much faster, but there's like the L2, the L1 cache. So anyway, so I had to replace that sucker. But I didn't know. It could have just been because my computer, what got me to start knowing that there is something wrong with the computer, which is from 2020, this laptop. Jesus Christ, I'll give you the whole life story of this laptop. So this laptop, which is not really a laptop because you don't want to put it on your lap because it's a gaming PC. It's a Razer Blade 17-inch. And this thing gets super hot. So you can't put it on your stupid lap. So I always used it as a workstation, as like a computer, not just as a laptop, like to bring to the coffee shop. No, this thing didn't leave the house. I did bring it on the airport, though. I did travel with it a few times. So that's probably why I got some bad sectors. Because how often do bad sectors happen? I don't know, but there's over 1,000 of them. I think it's from moving to Texas, man. I think it's like getting COVID, you know? Like if you move to Texas, something bad's going to happen. Like I got COVID when I first visited here. Like if you have a fun time in life and act reckless and, you know, move to Texas, you can't be surprised when you get some bad sectors. So that's what happened to my laptop hard drive, or my solid state. You know, I had a good run, and I was making episodes of this thing on it, but I would notice every once in a while there's like these defects in the video processing. Like I noticed, like, and just like in the audio processing. So whatever, we're gonna see if that was because of the bad sectors. So anyway, I replaced it with a name brand Samsung 980 Evo, whatever they call it, professional, just basically the highest spec, the best SSD you could get. That's made for laptop, that fits in a laptop. So it's called the NVE M2. And it's super small, but it's 2 terabytes, and it's just, so I felt good about the upgrade. I was like, okay, I'm going to replace it with twice as much data, and it's a next generation model. Like this came out after, like, you know, whatever. It's a slightly better, faster SSD. So I was excited but anyway, but when I was installing Windows, first of all, like, you don't always have to do that. You don't always have to reinstall Windows, but I did what I was told to do. See, I'm not a tech guy. I'm not like a level 50 wizard when it comes to this tech stuff. Everything, I have to relearn everything, man. I'm a PHP dinosaur. Like, I'm good with PHP 7. I don't know nothing about PHP 8. That shit's blowing my hair back. It's like, Jesus. But PHP, turns out I'm happy that it's still actually used by most websites. So gotcha, fucking hipster. Okay, we'll get into that later. We'll just finish up this bullshit with the SSD because this is riveting material. Riveting stand-up material that I could talk about in stand-up comedy tomorrow at 7 p.m. Jesus Christ. If you're seeing this episode, catch me. If you want to see the rest of this riveting story of my SSD. So anyway, I had to do a fresh install. Yeah, I was going to finish that plug for the comedy show, but it's at 7 p.m. And I'm probably not going to, no one's going to see it. Okay. Anyway. 7 p.m. I feel like there's a principle, like I have to like finish, I have to say that I'm doing a comedy, like, or else you're not like, yeah, that's a thing that you're supposed to do. You're supposed to like mention that you have a show, but like, I have a show. Okay, can we move on? 7 p.m. Tuesday or Wednesday is when this is going to be. I have a show at 7 p.m. Thank you very much. It's at, doesn't fucking matter where it is. I have a show. Yeah. Anyway, we'll get more on that later. I'm still finishing up. Okay. Let's just finish up this story about the SSD. So anyway, I had to do a fresh install of Windows because of the bad sectors. I couldn't transfer it over. Every piece of software I tried multiple ways of creating a recovery flash drive. That didn't work. I tried it 1,000 different times. I tried everything. I Googled my dick off to see why I couldn't make the recovery drive, because that's the easiest way. If you get a new hard drive or storage drive, whatever it's called in the time that you're listening to this, and you don't want to reinstall Windows and all your bullshit, you just use a recovery flash drive. But it didn't work because of the corruption. Dude, I got so into the nitty gritty of like looking at the partitions, and so anyway, I had to trash it and start from scratch. But I did back up the essential data that I needed, the files, and even that was a problem. I couldn't even back up all of the files that I needed from applications. So the SSD needed to be replaced, but like it didn't tell me that. The stupid software, Windows, nothing. Nobody told me, hey, your SSD is failing. It's like I gotta live in denial. With everything else, like you kind of get a hint, like, oh, maybe I'm dying of cancer. Maybe it's time to like get my affairs in order. But no, not with SSDs. I just started getting blue screens of death. Didn't say nothing about the SSD. So that's stupid, man. It should tell. Anyway, so I just figured it out. That was the problem. I mean, knock on wood, that's the problem. If I still get blue screens of death, that would be amazing, because I had over 1,000 bad sectors on that thing. Okay, I don't gotta move the mic stand. Why am I moving the mic? All of a sudden, I gotta move the mic stand. Okay, so you get where I'm coming from. This was stressful, and I had to reinstall Windows, and it's stupid. The amount of bloatware that comes in Windows, it almost made me want to use Linux, but I can't use Linux. How am I going to record this podcast in Linux? Like, that would be a hassle. So anyway, I guess compared to that, like dealing with Linux, which I don't even know if it's possible to run this hardware in Linux, with the fancy, like the capture card for the thing, to get those drivers in Linux, it'd be a pain in the ass. Windows, you just have to say no thank you. It just comes with this bloatware, and you just say no, skip. But I hate the way it made me have to sign in with Windows. I hated that. So you can't install Windows without internet access. You have to sign into a Microsoft account, and I hate how it set my home directory to just half of my email. I hated that, because now I got the path. The home path is now something new, and all this software, like my project files, is looking at the old path. So anyway, it pain in the ass, and that makes you like nervous about shit, man, because like it's not future proof. I know that this Windows installation, okay, I learned a little bit about what to back up, but everything's going to be changing either way, man. You can only back up your core files that you really need, which I did. But the little preferences that I have in Windows, just like, okay, like the taskbar, like you have it the way you want it, and there's so many things you got to set preference-wise, and they don't. When you install Windows from fresh, it's like this stupid, clownish. And then without the graphics driver, it was slow. So it's like it doesn't feel like a new computer, even though it's a new it's new hardware. It's a fresh install, fresh SSD, and it's running slower than it did with the old, because there's no graphics driver. So anyway, I thought it would take an hour. It's like, this will take an hour. It took like 48 hours. And brutal. But it's a workstation. So, it's a lot of software, a lot of stuff. And like getting the audio signal, whatever, man. So, even though everything looks pretty much the same, a lot of stupid software updates had to be done. That's how Linux is too. Like Linux, you can make all these updates, but all the whole point of the stupid thing that you got Linux for is to host a website. So the people that are on the website, they don't give a crap what version of Linux is on the stupid back server. They don't care that you updated Python or some other utility that has nothing to do with the website. Like, well, and it might be a slight performance increase, but they don't care. It's like, oh, you cleaned your cache. I just deleted my temp files. Nobody cares who's viewing the website, but that's kind of how this is. You don't care that I just made a bunch of updates to my workstation, like software. Why am I announcing that on the podcast? Because of the stress that it induced in my brain. That's why. That's why it's relevant, because it's not just a click of the button. It's satisfying when you do figure it out. When I did figure out things that were stressing me out, and sometimes you don't figure out nothing and it just starts working, that's not satisfying. Like sometimes, like this thing where I got the audio going into the OBS, sometimes it just doesn't work and I just have to restart my computer and it works again, because I'm using this way of broadcasting the audio from one software into the other software. I'm transmitting the audio in from the podcast. It's pretty high tech, and it's not interesting, but it has to be done right. It has to be working, or else I can't record. And I was fiddling around with the sample rates, like, should I do it at 48K or 44K? Sometimes you just have to do whatever works. And then 64-bit, everything should be 64-bit software, which it is. But that was another reason there's like a problem earlier. Anyway, so a lot of shit has happened under the hood. So now we can start the podcast proper. So anyways, that's the technical bullshit that I was dealing with. That's it. I mean, I didn't get enough from this topic because I'm not like ready to move on yet, but that's it. So the new SSD, it's great, man. It's a powerful, fast SSD, but installing Windows was a huge pain, and I'm just worried. When is this one going to get bad sectors? Well, I don't know. Airport. I won't bring it to an airport. How about that? I'm not going to travel with this PC. If I need to travel with the PC, I'll get another one, man. It is the workstation PC. It is a business PC. So another thing I learned, I bought this SSD, the new one, on Amazon, and I use my reward points Jesus Christ, I'm just stopping the show. I'm stopping this thing just to look at my hair. Yeah, I care about my hair more than what I'm talking about. I'm like, some people are like that. I'm like that. So anyway, this is another boring topic. And it's about like reward points. So if you use your reward points, I guess we're talking about finance now. And how it is crazy to be this like caring of So I care about every little dollar, every little cent in dollar because of the reward program. I get 5% on Amazon, but 2% on everything else or whatever. So I want to use that credit card to get the 2% because I'm cheap. And I'm becoming cheap, and it's satisfying though. It's not out of just cheapness. It's because it's satisfying to like squeeze out, just to cut costs is what I'm doing, and maximizing the rewards for what I am spending on essentials, because I do have these stupid subscriptions. A couple essential subscriptions, such as And this varies from person to person, but for me, my essentials are YouTube Premium, Spotify Premium, and a couple others. Photoshop. I need Photoshop, I guess. Can't just pirate it, I guess, for some reason. I don't know why. You always want to, I don't know. So I'm on a couple subscriptions. Definitely the YouTube and Spotify. Those are great. Those are, no reason to not be on that. Because who would want to sit through it? Dude, whenever I'm on a computer that I'm not signed in on YouTube, are you kidding me? The fact that some people actually sit through ads on YouTube, I can't believe it. So $10 a month for that, yeah, I could justify. But the thing I couldn't justify was not getting 2% back on that $10. Because I was using my PayPal, which goes to my bank account. And I was like, what the hell, man? You shouldn't have nothing going from your bank account. Nothing. No purchases, period, should come straight from your bank account. Here's what, cuz that's your money. That's your money that you need to have and to hold. Like a baby that you look at and you sleep like, yeah. You don't want some service to just grab money from your bank, just right from your bank account. Your most soft, tender, that's where your liquid cash is in case of an emergency. Like if somebody calls you like, yo, man, I need $200 right now to bail me out of jail or some shit. Like, I don't know. There's got to be a better reason than just, like somebody like, yo, man, I need $200. I don't know, man. I don't like giving money to, I don't like, let's say it's somebody you care about that's like, yo, man, I need that you actually don't feel bad about giving the money to. Not just some asshole that's just like randomly hitting you up. Yeah, fuck that. I'm saying like a family member. Or fuck it, you just need dinner. You just want to get dinner. You would still use a credit card for that even. So a bank account, yeah, that's like an emergency. Nothing should be pulled directly from your bank account except for when you're paying a bill that was already charged to a credit card. When you're paying off a debt that you can't pay with the credit card. That you, like, okay, so basically the only time to use your bank account to pay for anything is an emergency when you just need cash. And that, you just need $200, like whatever, for fill in the blank drugs. I don't know. That you can't use a credit card for, which even then, very few things exist in the world. It's to pay off a credit card. That's it. Because everything else, you could use a credit card for. There's some things that only accept a bank account, and that sucks. Then it's like, okay, well, you got yourself into a bad situation if it only accepts a bank deposit. Like, for example, I have a loan on a car, and the website to pay off that loan only accepts your bank account. You can't pay with a credit card, which is stupid. But thankfully, it's almost paid off. So it'll be paid and I'll be done with it. This is just something I just realized. Is like, why am I letting anything pull money straight from my bank account when I could be using a proxy in between, something in between the bank account to benefit me? Instead of just going straight to my bank, you could use a credit card because it'll at least give you a nice little 2% reward, maybe 1% reward at the very worst. You'll get a 1% reward. You'll get points back, and it's helping your credit. Then, yes, when you pay it off before the interest hits you, before the interest of the credit card bill hits you, which I do, I pay off my credit card balance every month before interest is accrued. with my bank. That's the only thing that should have access, is you manually making a payment to pay off a credit card. Because I had all these things that were going straight from my bank. I looked this up. That's what I have been busy with in the past week, which is exciting stuff. This is exciting material to share with the world. I had something, like I was using this stupid Factor meal delivery service, which is pretty expensive. It's like $200 a week, which I don't use every week because that'd be ridiculous. But when it does charge me, it was charging me through PayPal, which was going straight to my bank account because I didn't know better when I set this up. Now I know better. Always use your Amazon card first, because that thing is 5% Amazon, 2% in certain categories, and 1% everything else. So at worst, I'll get 1% back on that $200 a week. So of course I gotta do that, even though it's a couple dollars that I'm saving. Hey, it's better than going straight to my bank account. It adds up, and then I could use that to get something nice later in life, like this SSD. I used my reward points to buy the SSD, but even then I did something wrong. Something that I thought that was like, okay, I'll buy this SSD with the rewards, the Amazon Prime points, because it's like something substantial, and it's basically free. So it's like this free piece of hardware that I'm going to get a lot of use out of. But I did that wrong. Yes, that's great. But you could have... And then as I used the points to buy it. That's what I did wrong. Never use your Amazon points to buy something. Use the points to get a refund on your statement. Credit on your credit card statement. Because then you could actually get more points when you buy the thing you want to buy. You should always charge your credit card for any purchase on Amazon and never use the points. Because if you use the points, you won't get the points. Get it? So I bought this SSD with points, so there was no credit card charge. So I didn't get 5%. That's what I missed out on by using the damn points. So if you want to maximize your rewards, only get credit card credit with the points. It's not as exciting, but it's how you maximize the reward. So anyway, I was like, I learned this stuff matters, man. And even if I was making shitloads of money or any money at all, I would still care about once you know how to budget, like save a little, cut costs, you're going to do it. It doesn't matter how much you're making. I mean, of course, you're going to be spending more as you make more, but you still got to stick within your principle. Like, don't exceed your income from what your portfolio is naturally generating on its own, or just your income. Whatever. That's a whole nother subject, is like how much you should spend. Because you can't just, realistically living off dividends is a immature outlook. Unless you're in your 70s. But even then, that's really not that different than just selling shares. So anyway, that's another topic for another day. But I was just addicted with dividends because it just feels like you're growing wealth. But in a way, I guess that's true, because whatever, it's just another topic. No, it's not interesting. We're not going to talk about dividends, but it kind of... interested in talking about it a little bit, but not right now. So okay, let's get to one of the... I missed this check. I didn't do the pre-production checklist. So hair, shave, wardrobe. Yeah, I shaved. Wardrobe. I did the wardrobe. That's lighting. Yeah. Camera, audio. Start recording. Turn off the studio monitors. Yep. Start the video. Okay. I did it all. I didn't need the checklist. I usually don't need the checklist, but it's good to have the checklist. Okay, so the first topic, the first official topic now that we're done rambling, is sleep apnea. I'm getting destroyed by sleep apnea, man. This expensive CPAP machine. I don't know if it's working or not. And also, even if I use it all night, it's tough, man. I still wake up with like a headache, but it's always worse. It's always worse when I don't use it, but it's hard to use that thing all night. Anyway, so that's been bad. Just to give you a quick update on that. And then, yeah, it's bad. Fatigue is a problem. Waking up with a headache is a problem. And fibromyalgia is a thing I was learning about. I heard about that. And somebody was saying about how it has to do with fatigue. There's like possible link to fibromyalgia and trauma. And it's like, hell yeah. That's the case for me, for sure, man. All my fatigue definitely is like rooted in trauma that I'm not that is always going to be there unless I do something about it. Like it takes like a defragmentation. I don't know how to get through the deep-rooted trauma. That takes like neuroplasticity up the ass. And like that we don't have the technology right now, but hopefully someday, because then I'll be able to talk without I'll actually be able to talk about something that could actually be useful. Wait, what? When it's cured, I mean, I could actually talk about it? Well, why would I have to talk about it? It's an interesting subject to talk about now. But because as it's a problem that we want to solve as a species. We want to solve chronic fatigue. We want to solve it, and if it's based on trauma, then what the hell? How do we deal with that? Psychedelics. I still do a lot of psychedelics. I always think it's gonna be not what it is. The psychedelics, I always have this like hard-minded confidence before I go into the psychs, and then when I take them, I realize that it's not. It takes over your whole body, not just your. It doesn't just make you see shit. It totally makes you. It melts everything. It takes away all your senses. It fucks with your whole existence. So it's not something you could just be like, yeah, man, sure. It's not just throwing back a couple beers, man. It fucks with your entire sensory. It just makes you feel slippery. But then you do it and it's good. It's always a positive thing most of the time. I mean, it's always positive for me recently. But then I just want to do more of it and whatever. And then I'm just feeling about how it's just not going to last or something. And how I'm still not getting what I need out of life. It makes you think about life. Anyway, so we covered that. Charles Bukowski, we covered that. The ADHD, we kind of touched on that. It's not going good. You know, I got tools for it, right? I got tools, but my sleep is horrible. I wake up feeling awful. And that's one thing that's not getting better is my sleep. I wake up with a pretty bad headache, and I just want to go back to bed once I'm done sleeping. It's never a fun start of the day to wake up with this really bad headache, but it always goes away after less than an hour. It's just from not sleeping well. It's from sleep apnea, and I think it could just be that. Who knows, man? If my airways weren't blocked by these stupid tonsils. These stupid tonsils are ruining my life, man. They're stopping me from having a life. Just these tonsils in my throat. So if cutting out the tonsils is the thing I need to not have to actually wake up without a headache, then I'll consider doing that, because it's only been less than a year since I've even been treating the sleep apnea. It's only been less than a year since I've even knew I had it. So, at least I know that I got the thing. I got the problem. Now I got to think of the solution, right? That's half the battle. So anyway, sorry, this is like the worst episode I've ever done, man. But I don't got to apologize because nobody's going to get this far into it. So, but if you do, I apologize. Anyway, so the ADHD, that's on full display, man. It's because ADHD, that stops me from wanting to continue on to subjects that I started at. It's really bad. Vyvanse I've been taking, and that's okay. But it just makes me feel like stiff. It just makes me want to like stay on one. It makes it hard to take care of. It's not that great, you know. It doesn't make me feel loose. It just makes me feel like powerful, like stimulated, motivated. But it not with small stuff. It makes me only want to sit in the same chair and just stare at this, like focus. It makes me hyper focus. And that ain't what Adderall was. Adderall just makes me smoothly relax. So the Vyvanse, I don't know, man. I don't like it that much. It's too strong. It's too stiff. You know, it makes me stiff. And it ain't good for, I don't know. I don't think it's bad for comedy, but I haven't been doing comedy, so I don't. It probably is not good. But whatever. I need to get over the fatigue and the not wanting to move my mouth muscles. I haven't even wanted to move my mouth muscles at all this whole week, man. So this podcast is happening by force. So that's why it's one of the reasons it's so bad. And I've been drinking a lot of coffee, keto coffee, which I am pretty good at making this coffee with. It's keto coffee, so I have to say that ahead of time so you don't get freaked out by the ingredients. So the first ingredient is coffee, black coffee. Strong is, and then the next ingredient is butter. Grass-fed, high-quality, pre-melted, butter. You don't want it to be straight from the fridge. You want it to be kind of like room temperature butter, so it blends easy. And then the next ingredient is just this powder called Keto Chow, and it's delicious. Powder and any flavor tastes good with coffee, and I didn't think it would. Like even strawberry tastes delicious mixed with coffee, and I was like, that's not gonna be good. Like every flavor that I thought would be gross with coffee actually is delicious. So that's what I've been doing. I blend it up, and it's so good, man. But I need a lot of it. I need an infinite amount of it. So I'm still somebody that I rely on stimulants. And I don't want to go crazy, man, because some of them, obviously you got to worry about your heart. Whatever. So I got all sorts of problems still. And I got a show tomorrow or today. I got a show in less than 12 hours, Shit, is it really less than... Yeah, it's way less than 12 hours from now. It's in 10 hours. No, it's in more than 12. Jesus Christ. Okay. I got a show at 7 p.m. In East Austin off of Cesar Chavez at 7 p.m. So it's more than 12 hours from now. Thank God. Because I need more than 12 hours. I got to go to sleep. And then anytime I go to sleep, it's like a new day. So I got to recycle. I got to build up my mood after sleeping like garbage. And if it's at 7 o'clock, that's like the first thing I'm doing that day. So I'm going to need a lot of stimulants and mushrooms and good luck driving anywhere. It's a mess. I live out of town, so if I'm going into town, I can't be all messed up on I can't, I got to be able to drive. So that's not good. I miss being in a city where I could just take Ubers and just be sloshed. I mean, you can here too, but man, Ubers have become so expensive in Austin. Once you're in town, yeah, you just walk. But even then, you got to be careful. You don't want to be just too sloshed and vulnerable. You got to know what you're doing when you're walking around. So either way, it's a problem. But it'd be, just hard to be like, okay, I'm going into town. Anyway, and also when I go into town, I get disappointed. I come home with this feeling of emptiness and pain because I'm still going through whatever else I'm going through. With the sober shit. That's another thing I haven't talked about in a while. Is this whole post-acute withdrawal, the pause. It's what it's called, PAWS. That's what I think. That's what I don't know. I have something like that, and it causes low dopamine. So whatever, man. It's another reason I gotta take even more stimulus to counteract that shit. Which who knows how long that'll last. I don't know. If I feel like I'm doing some shit that I couldn't do otherwise. Like I'm not totally useless, but I am pretty useless, man. My brain is not working too well. But anyway, I think I explained everything so far, pretty much. Taxes are a bitch. Finances, you gotta squeeze every last penny because I'm not making money. I ain't making no money. That's stressful as shit. But who, you know, even if you are, it's still stressful. But I could, you know, if you're working a shitty job, you're not doing any worse than me, right? Or better. What am I talking about? I'm kind of jealous of people that are at least making money, but then they would be like, well, you don't even have to work. So they'd be jealous of me because I don't have to work. But I'm jealous of them because they have income, positive cash flow. Positive cash flow is how you feel good in life, man. That's how I feel. I can't leave the house if I don't got no positive cash flow. That's why I like dividends, I guess, because dividends are the illusion of of income. And if it doesn't touch your principal, whatever, man. So we'll figure it out. We just got to keep trucking along. I'm not giving up on much, you know. Definitely not giving up. I'm just saying, man, it's been tough, man. And this was fun. This was episode 76 of the program. And I'll see you soon.